Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of DeKalb, Illinois, this June 21st, 2021. We'll start with roll call.
Becker.
Here.
McMahon.
Here.
O'Flaherty.
Here.
Pena-Graham.
Here.
Wright. Chair Maxwell.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. I'll ask if there are any additions or deletions to the minutes of the previous meeting.
Let's do the agenda.
I'm sorry.
First, yeah.
Ask for the approval of the agenda if there's any additions or deletions to the agenda. If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
Approved by O'Flaherty,
Second.
seconded by Pena-Graham. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Now we'll move to the approval of the minutes from the previous meeting. Any additions or deletions? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I move to accept the minutes as presented.
Moved by Slack. Seconded by?
Second.
Seconded by Pena-Graham. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. So moved. Public participation of the meeting. If there's anyone that would like to speak to anything that is not on the agenda, please come forward and state your name. If not, we'll move to new business. Today, the final development plan, approval of the final development plan for safe passage at 217 Franklin Street, and I will turn it over to the presentation.
Thank you, Chair. We have this one item tonight. This is not a public hearing. It's a final development plan approval for safe passage, their new facility, 217 Franklin Street. You may remember late last year they went through the hearing process and they were granted rezoning of the site in December to build the new facility. They received zoning of planned development commercial and also received approval of a preliminary development plan, which you see here was in your packet too. The building and the kind of somewhat L-shaped with the parking to the east. In that ordinance, it required that they come back prior to any construction with a final development plan because they didn't have the detailed plans at that time. So they were required to come back, which they have, to include the architectural elevations, the landscape plan, the engineering plan, the lighting plan, and also a final plat. So they've submitted all those, and it was go through the commission and also the council. So what we're looking for is compliance with the preliminary development plan and also compliance with the UDO with their submittal. So these have been submitted out to staff. The building, there's elevation there, color rendering, two-story with a basement. About 40,320 square feet. That's slightly less than the 42,000 square feet that was shown on the preliminary development plan. Of course, they fine-tuned their floor plan and everything with all the uses. So the new building, of course, will be emergency shelter, counseling services, administrative offices, an outdoor playground in the rear of the property. This is the current site layout. Again, the L-shaped building, the playground in the back, the parking on the east side of the site. This is Franklin Street on the bottom with 2nd Street and then 3rd Street to the east. The basement is for group therapy. A lot of it's unfinished at this time, children's services and storage. First floor will contain the counseling, administrative offices, living quarters. They're going to be on the upper level. There were floor plans in your packets too, showing the details of that. The plans show 15 separate living quarters on the upper level with about 54 beds. Building will be fully alarmed, sprinkled, and also a security system. They're looking to start construction by the end of 2021 this year and then take about a year to finish, so looking to open in late 2022. Access, same as the preliminary development plan, and what the clinic had also Franklin Street access and also off of South 3rd Street, and then a little area off 2nd Street that will be under a canopy for mostly deliveries and donation drop-offs. Will be in that area. Landscape plan was also submitted. And the UDO requires, the landscaping's geared or in the chapter regarding parking. So they do have landscaping around the parking area. to the east, meeting the UDO requirements. They are planning to landscape also in front of the building and along South Second Street, and a little bit behind there too. There'll be the playground behind there. So the plan doesn't show it, but they've agreed, and we've made a condition that they'll plant those areas per the review by city staff with the landscaping. But the landscaping around the parking does meet the requirements. They're actually saving 2 linden trees that are along South Third Street. So those were saved. The building was, of course, demoed late last year. The parking, if you recall, so this plan shows 22 parking spaces. It's designed a little bit differently, but that's 4 more spaces than the preliminary development plan, which had 18. And then, if you recall, there was a discussion on parking. They are allowed to use and do have approval from the St. George Greek Orthodox Church to use their 32-space parking lot, which is right across Franklin Street here. So we do have the letter giving approval for safe passage to use that. In addition, there is adequate, a lot of public parking in the area too. On-street parking on South Second Street and South Third Street is available too. Since the commission last saw it, one of the things too, just to mention, if you recall, there was a sanitary sewer right through the middle of the site. There's the floor plans of final plat. Just some photos of the site recently. There was a sanitary sewer right through the middle of the site shown in blue there. That was relocated to the Second Street and over here shown in red to avoid obviously being under the building. So that was a joint project cost between the city, the sanitary district, and safe passage. So that's been accomplished. As I mentioned, the plans have been reviewed by staff, and I'll summarize those where we're at. Police department also reviewed it, and they do approve of the plans. So there's a sample motion. We'd recommend approval of the final development plan per the Exhibit A, and that lists all the plans I went over with their dates. And then also 6 conditions. Items 3 through 6, we did receive revised plans late last week. Those are in your packet. Our engineer reviewed those, and items 3, 4, 5, and 6 have been addressed. So the only remaining items, the photometric plan, they need to add a little bit more lighting to get to that range of foot candle, the intensity of the lighting a little bit. And they've agreed to the landscape plan, which I mentioned. They'll be adding some landscaping in front of the building and on the side and the back a little bit. So those are the 2 remaining conditions. But we recommend approval. Reps from Safe Passage are here, along with John Pappas, if you have any questions for them. Thank you.
Since this isn't a public hearing,
It's not a
I don't
public
close, and so I can open it up to anyone that would like to comment, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if there's anybody that would like to address the commission, please step forward, state your name and your address. Otherwise, I can open it to comment by the commission. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions?
No, to your point, Dan, I mean, this was approved by us and then city council. It's just, this is the final presentation of the documents. I reviewed them earlier today, and I think they look wonderful.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Agreed.
What's the agreement you have with the church? Are you allowed to use the parking all the time?
Yes, unless they have a funeral.
Okay.
Or something like that, but pretty much every day, except for on weekends. And we agreed to, Sundays, I'm sorry, and we agreed to, help with plowing out the parking lot and doing all that. So.
Okay. And then item 3, what is, I don't understand what, detectable warning plate label, leader label should have language such as type shall meet preference of city as directed by engineer. What, yeah, maybe you can offer me some, what is that referring to there?
Yeah, some of these engineering things, I think that relates to the sidewalks, how they're, maybe the handicap accessibility, detectable warning plates that are on the sidewalks.
Okay.
That kind of relates to item 4 too.
but you said those 3 through 6, you said.
3
have
through
already
6 have been addressed. Our city
addressed.
engineer
Okay.
checked those
So that's
today, and
done.
they all been addressed, so.
In the agreement for the parking, there's no sunset clause. It's indefinite, permanent, correct? Yeah. Okay.
And additionally, there is public parking about a block and a half away too, correct?
That's correct.
And including on street, so
Mhm.
it seems like there's adequate parking.
Yeah, the Vaughn lot's up here. It's at 82 lots. Some of that's residential permit. You have some on-street parking on Second and Third, I think 3-hour. Additional public parking up here, so there's quite a bit of public parking in the area.
Mhm.
Lincoln is almost
What's that?
mostly open.
Mostly
most
open.
of the time.
Most of the time.
And Trixie's Vast lot's only about two.
Yeah, I think it looks good.
Yeah,
It does.
the only question I had, again, and you addressed, was the landscaping around the corner, which isn't indicated on the plat, but if there's an agreement to that, I think it looks wonderful.
Yeah.
Given that, may I make the motion?
Ask for a motion to approve?
I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend approval of the final development plan and for a safe passage facility at 217 Franklin Street per the plans of Exhibit A, and subject to all comments listed below being addressed to the satisfaction of city staff prior to the approval by city council. Item 1, revised lighting photometric plan to increase average foot candle level for the parking lot to between 2.0 and 5.0. And item 2, to revise the landscape plan to add planting to the area along Franklin Street, South Second Street, and at the rear of the property per city staff approval.
So moved by Becker.
Second?
Second by O'Flaherty. All in favor, say aye.
Let's have a roll call.
I'm sorry,
on that.
roll call.
Becker,
Yes.
McMahon,
Yes.
O'Flaherty,
Yes.
Pena Graham,
Yes.
Wright, Chair Maxwell.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Staff reports.
Next meeting scheduled for Tuesday, July 6th. Monday's a holiday at the city, so Tuesday, July 6th, we'll have one hearing, 304 North 10th, rezoning for, it's an existing former commercial, was residential, for a couple apartments, sent you the email link, and some commercial at the bottom, and adding a little parking lot. So that'll be the one hearing we have for July 6th. At the last council meeting, June 14th, they did pass the T-Mobile expansion of the equipment on top of Taylor Street Plaza was approved first and second reading there. That's all I had.
Okay. And if anybody doesn't have anything to add, motion to adjourn. Motion by O'Flaherty. Seconded by?
I will second to adjourn.
Seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign, and thank you very much.
I think I
Thank you.
memorized